We want to bring in Debbie Binder. We know today is primary day. Not a big day here locally. Pontiac has some elections. I was a little sad I didn't get to go to the polls to vote today.
It is a quiet day. I do have to say, though, after 2020, Ronnie, this might be the first year since I was elected in 2016. We may have one election. We won't know until August 10th if we have one for November. But this will be the first year that I definitely have had below 3 elections in a couple of the years before. It's been a busy, between all the school districts we've had many elections. It's been a busy few years, and 2020 was extraordinarily busy. So we are getting a little bit of well-deserved break also over here at the clerk's office.
It has been a crazy year, and just so you know, I did stack up on my I voted stickers the last time I went to the polls. So I have several. So I'm just going to slap one on today.
People like to vote, including me. I am a poll voter because I like to get that sticker. I like the energy at the polls. It's fun. So it does inspire people. And I make sure my election workers know, don't forget to hand someone that I voted sticker, because it's possibly why they came out to vote instead of voting absentee.
That is so true. I'm glad I'm not the only one, though. Hey, Debbie, if I can ask you, though, it's crazy right now for people trying to get their passports. I've had my friends from Ohio. They must think I have like a magic wand because there's an office in Detroit. Can you get us in? I'm like, no, everyone is going through this. What is the deal with the passports right now?
It's a combination of things. They're quoting, obviously, the COVID and understaffed, but there's also been a problem with the mail that is not a new issue, and that is causing delays. So that the Department of State has now packed that time with the mail delays into their times that they're quoting for passports. So we are getting quotes now for 3 times what it normally takes to get a passport, up to 18 weeks. Again, we're a passport acceptance agency, which means we're not a passport agency. We literally are a flow-through for the Department of State. Well, we're getting quotes of 18 weeks for a regular passport and 12 weeks for an expedited passport, up to 12 weeks and up to 18 weeks. So that is about triple what we used to be able to quote. So yes, there is a problem in terms of the delays, which is why we are telling everyone and spreading the message to plan ahead. Don't wait till last minute if you need that passport. If you have definite travel dates that are in the near future, you will need to go to the Detroit office and try to get in there to get that passport. We are now, and the demand is there. We are actually booked through the beginning of September with our appointments for passports. It is open for residents and for non-residents.
Wow.
Although we are taking residents first and non-residents as space allows. But, the biggest message is don't wait and don't think anybody can expedite that passport. If you get to where you're crunched on travel time, going down to the Department of State in Detroit is going to be your only option. So, and then you do have to have proof of travel to go that route. So please make sure you are planning ahead.
Again, we're talking with Debbie Binder. She is with the West Bloomfield Clerk's Office. And Debbie, what else is going on over there at the Clerk's Office?
Well, one thing, Ronnie, before we run out of time, I just want to thank you for your constant coverage and support of the clerk's office in everything elections. It has been a pleasure to work with you, and I wish you well on any endeavor that you take on, because I know you will be successful. You really commit so much of yourself, and it shows in everything you do. So thank you for supporting me, for supporting elections, and for supporting the clerk's office. Always appreciate it.
Well, I have to say, though, Debbie, every time you come on, and as someone who's been a reporter for 20 plus years, you cover election day every single year. I still learn something new every time you come on this show. So really, you are such a service to the community, and the knowledge that you share. We're just the avenue. We're just your pulpit. Let's just put it that way. So it's always great to have you.
But you do a great job, and you get important messages out to people. And quite honestly, I think you and Tyler almost single-handedly helped make sure I had sufficient election workers in 2020. So again, very grateful.
And with that too, Debbie, can we talk a little bit, because I keep trying to push my sister to volunteer, because she's one of those people who may or may not think there's a conspiracy theory behind the voting and the polls. And I'm like, go volunteer. How can people sign up to volunteer?
And it's funny that you bring that up. I had that conversation this week with another one of our election workers who said she would be skeptical, except just the training. Last year in November, we had a lot of extra people trained in case we had to have a second shift. So I had about 100 workers that we didn't end up using, but went through training. And I ran into one of them just in the last couple of weeks that said to me that when all of this stuff came out and all of their concerns, that just having gone through that training alone alleviated their concerns and helped them understand the process and all the checks in place in that process. So working an election is paramount in terms of getting satisfied and comforted in the process and what goes on. So I would recommend to anybody who wants to learn the election process, even contact me about attending a training, and maybe that's something we'll look at doing, because I do think when people find out all of the steps and processes that go into an election, they are reassured. They know that there's so many checkpoints in place, as well as audits afterward, and that provides great comfort. So what I would do is say, contact the clerk's office if you're interested in working an election, and maybe that's something we'll look at if people just want to come and attend a training, because I think that knowledge alone will reassure people on what goes on election day and beforehand.
Yeah, and since you'll have a little bit of downtime, before the next election, that could be a good use of the time just to calm some nerves, because we don't want a repeat of what we had last year.
No, it was really, from all clerks' perspective. I think I've told you before, I'm on the board of the Oakland County Clerks Association, where we are a very committed bipartisan group of clerks. And it has been frustrating for every single one of us, to the challenges that we face when you have such committed people who are out there doing their jobs, working hard, protecting every single person's right to vote, and then being questioned that we aren't following the law, which we are. We follow all federal and state election laws and create maybe individual processes but nothing is out of compliance with the laws that we have to follow. So I implore everyone to get involved to some capacity, even if it's just attending that training, so that you do learn what goes into it and why these hardworking clerks in the state of Michigan are protecting their vote, and that their vote does count, and their vote does count as it was cast.
Well, Debbie, it's always a pleasure talking to you. We appreciate your time, and I hope you have some fun plans ahead for the summer. Enjoy the time off. We always appreciate talking to you. Again, the West Bloomfield Township Clerk, Debbie Binder. That's going to wrap it up for the Tuesday edition of the MegaCast. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m.